What's good, everybody, and thank y'all for watching. Now y'all know what time it is. You are now tuned in to, and as always, y'all, it's your dude BLove, aka Bubz, coming at y'all once again with the video for this Tuesday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope that your week is starting off great. Please excuse me if I'm not as perky or really into it as I usually am when I do the intros to my videos. It's just that right now I'm in kind of I'm kind of have mixed emotions right now, based off of something that I just watched on Netflix, and it kind of sparked something within me to bring forth a video to you all. I want to thank y'all for watching, first of all, you know, for taking the time out to do so. The name of the documentary that I watched, and I'm pretty sure maybe some of you have already seen it. It is called Bridegroom, and I was watching it on Netflix, and I believe it premiered on the Oprah Winfrey Network, if I'm not mistaken. And to me, this documentary truly is one of the testaments of what real, true, agape, unconditional love is. And it really shows that love is not just for a certain group of people, that love is universal, that love is fluid, and love is for anybody that wants it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just go into the documentary and go ahead and give you my opinion and my thoughts on the documentary. Once again, it's called Bridegroom. You can watch it on Netflix. I'm pretty sure if you find any other website, I don't know if it's on YouTube or not, or you know, if you guys check, but I just know for a fact that it's on Netflix. So I encourage all of you to go out and watch it. But to jump right into it, it is a documentary about two guys, an individual by the name of Tom and an individual by the name of Shane. At the beginning of the documentary, they were showing how, you know, both Tom and Shane, they lived hundreds, thousands of miles away from each other, and just showing how they grew up in life and things that they dealt with, and them coming to terms at I want to say probably in their teen years, understanding their sexuality and knowing that they had same gender attraction. And of course, with them both being raised in a small town, a rural area, you know, one in Indiana and the other one, I forgot where Shane was from, but Tom was from Indiana. And of course, in a small, tight-knit community such as a small town, you know, change is something that they don't like. You know, they like how things are. And if anything different comes around or comes about or shows itself, for some reason they take it as some form of a threat, and of course it becomes fear. And of course we all know that a lot of things are stemmed from fear, and when we fear something, we begin to hate it, instead of taking the time out to actually get to know what it's about, so that we have understanding, so that we won't be fearful of it. But it showed both of them how they both grew up and you know, were raised and stuff like that. And you know, they had Shane's parents, you know, and some of Tom's friends, and just friends of both of them collectively, and speaking about how awesome they were and the things that they did, and how they were both into music, and how they were, you know, the most positive people you could ever meet. Of course, they had their dark moments with depression and dealing with the stigma that comes with being gay, that society likes to put out there, and everybody who doesn't take the time out to actually sit down and really get to talk to somebody or get a true understanding of what it is, they believe it, you know, instead of actually taking the time out to truly know for themselves. And what happened is that one day, Tom's friend wanted Shane and Tom to meet, to hook them up. Of course, they didn't want to say it blatantly out there, but they just kind of wanted to see if sparks would happen, and it did. It really, really did, to the point to where these individuals were together for 6 years. And you can look at them and you can tell that they were truly in love, and that it wasn't anything fake, it wasn't anything artificial about it or superficial. It was really, truly love, the one thing that a lot of us, we want to be able to have. And they were truly a beacon of light of what love was. You know, they would go on trips together to Egypt and to France, and just travel all over the world, and, you know, just live life, you know. And to be able to live life with that special someone that you have, it is an amazing thing to do. And it's something, hopefully one day, that, you know, I will be able to experience, as well as you all will be able to experience. During that time, I believe it was one Christmas or one Thanksgiving, Shane and Tom went to their separate, you know, hometowns. Shane's family, you know, was accepting of him being just being who he was, and they had no problem with it. His father accepted his son, and he said, "I still love you. It doesn't change anything about you or how I view you. You're still my son at the end of the day." The mother was like, "Hey, I kind of knew a little bit that you were, so it's okay, whatever." And you know, the sisters and everything, it seemed like it was, you know, that they were really a family, and really practicing what it means to be a parent, which is to love your child unconditionally, no matter what. For Tom, on the other hand, it was not that way. Tom was sitting in a living room with his mother and father, and they saw a commercial on TV where there were two lesbian women, and the mother was in disgust and just was saying a whole bunch of hateful, nasty, distasteful things about them. And all of a sudden, Tom just said, "You know, well, Mom, I'm gay. You know, and, you know, when you say things about them, you're saying things about me." And his mom completely flipped and lost it. She ended up calling Tom's father home from work, and they were arguing back and forth, and, you know, of course they were saying, you know, it's a sin, this and that, you know, the things that people of LGBT hear a lot. And even to the point to where Tom's father even pulled out a shotgun on his son because of that. And then after a few days, you know, Tom left, and they went back to California, where both Tom and Shane lived in an apartment. All of a sudden, Tom's mom, Martha, decided to come down and meet Shane. Of course, it was kind of awkward, because it's like, okay, I'm trying to get to know you. A few days ago, or probably a few weeks ago, you were just throwing Bible verses and saying that, you know, you need to get some type of medical, psychological help, and now I'm trying to befriend you. But it seemed like it was working, because, you know, Martha seemed to be smiling. She seemed to be having the time of her life. She seemed to be happy, and seeing that her son was happy, she was like, well, you know, if my son is happy, that's all that matters. It seemed like things were going good. Then in 2011, I want to say maybe April, I believe. I forgot what day it was. Tom had went over to a friend's house, and they ended up taking pictures, and they would always go on the roof of this apartment complex. You know, they always went on the roof. It was just like their place to be able to hang out and stuff like that. And, you know, Shane always told Tom, you know, I don't like you being near the roof, you know, because it's you could trip and fall, and it could be over with. And he would tell Tom all the time, you know, Tom, don't go near the end of the roof. I don't want you to fall off. And, you know, Tom would say, oh, you know, well, I'm not, you know, just joking around. And Shane was like, I'm serious. Don't play like that. So then all of a sudden, a few hours later, Shane receives a text message saying that Tom fell. And, you know, Shane is thinking that this is a horrible, cruel joke. All right, you guys are playing games. I don't really want to play games right now. And he didn't receive a text message back. And then he called Tom's phone, and Tom didn't answer the phone. And that's when Shane knew that something was terribly and horribly wrong. They had rushed Tom to the hospital, and Shane wanted to go see him. Unfortunately, at that time, because of the rules regulated by the hospital, people who were not family or immediate family could not see the patient within the hospital. But somehow, you know, the nurses, they realized that it wasn't a gay thing, it wasn't a straight thing, it was a human thing, and that it was about love, and they could see that it was truly love there. So they allowed Shane and his friends to be able to go back there to see Tom, and Tom is laying on the hospital bed with tubes just coming out of him, and his face was covered, but you could see that there was blood still there. And Shane and Tom had this little thing, this little cute thing that they did. Shane was kind of afraid to display affection publicly. So what they would do is that they would knock on something 3 times to symbolize the words "I love you," and that was a little thing that they did. And the only thing that he was able to touch on Tom was his leg, and he tapped 3 times on Tom's leg to let him know that "I love you." During that time, you know, they didn't know if he was gonna make it or not, and then all of a sudden, the doctor came into the waiting room, and Shane just knew from that moment that Tom had passed away. And you know, Shane called his mom. His mom was hysterical for him. She said, "Okay, I'm coming down there. I'm gonna, you know, see about my child." And then, you know, Shane called Tom's parents. And during that time in Indiana, it was like late at night, and you know, the first thing that Tom's mom said was, "Well, you know, how much did Tom have to drink?" And then you can hear Tom's father in the background, "Well, what the hell was he doing on the roof anyway?" So then a few days later, Tom's mom, Martha, came down to California, and they were getting ready to plan the funeral, and you know, and everything, and get all the funeral procedures in order. And Martha was telling Shane and Shane's mother and friends that, you know, "Oh, you guys are welcome to the funeral. I want you guys to come. You guys can stay at our house. We just want to show you that, you know, we do accept Tom and Shane together as a couple, to recognize them." And then a few days later, the talk about funeral, you know, procedures and planning stopped, and it kind of seemed like Martha was taking over the funeral, you know, what the direction the funeral was going to go, and that Shane, you know, Tom's partner, the person that they both owned the business together, they all both owned a place together, had a dog together, you know, they were together, and he didn't have a part in it. And then it got to a point to where Martha was getting ready to leave, and she was just all finicky, and it just seemed like something wasn't right, you know. And she was like, "You know, I have to go now. I have to go. I'll call a taxi." And Shane's like, "I'm not gonna let you take a taxi. You know, I can drive you." And you know, Martha was just getting all the clothes that she wanted to bury her son in, and all that type of stuff. And it just seemed like something, like she knew something that he didn't know. And come to find out that you know, Martha found out that Tom's body was being released, and they were going to ship it back home to Indiana for the homegoing service. And Shane drops Martha off at the airport, and he told her, "Please keep me updated. Please keep me updated. You know, this is the person that you spent 6 years of your life with, in love with. Please keep me updated." And she's like, "Okay, I will. I promise I will." And then nothing else after that. So then Shane and Shane's friends and Shane's mother had to try to figure out, you know, what was going on, what was happening about the funeral and stuff like that. And they read about it in the local Indiana newspaper in the town which Tom lived in. And, you know, Shane called Tom's house, and the relative at Tom's house said, "Well, you know, well, if that's what's in the newspaper, you should really just go by that then." Just being very disrespectful and not even acknowledging that Shane was the love of Tom's life. And they found out about the funeral, and Shane, his mother, and Shane's friends decided that they were going to go to the funeral. And upon going to the airport, Shane got a phone call from the relatives of Tom, and they told him basically that if you come to this funeral, we're going to attack you, we're going to hurt you. But he went anyway, even though there was a fear that they might try to kill him, I don't know, by pulling a gun, by trying to knife him to death, I mean, hit him with a car, I don't know, to do something, but to keep him away from that. And in a sense, Shane, as hard as it was for him to do, he respected his parents' wishes. I mean, respected the parents' wishes of Tom. And he didn't go to the funeral service. He didn't. And basically the funeral service, based on Tom's friends who were invited, was basically just how they remembered Tom before he met Shane. And after the funeral, you know, that's when it really hit Shane that, wow, this person that I'm in love with is gone. And physically on this earth, in this realm, I'm never going to see them again. And the fact that, you know, you would think that if someone was on their deathbed, that their significant other would be there to hold their hand or to rub their head or whisper I love you and be with them during their final moments. He couldn't, because it wasn't recognized as such. And the fact that the parents of Tom kept Shane away and didn't even give him a chance to say goodbye the way that he should have said goodbye is really, really distasteful and it's hurtful. And because of the pain that Shane went through, Shane decided to share his pain with the world. It was a video on YouTube and it became very viral. I mean, over millions of views. And that's when they brought into this documentary to go in depth about what really happened. And the one thing that I learned about it is that I wish everybody would just truly understand. They don't have to accept, but just to truly understand that love is love. Love knows no gender. Love knows no race. Love knows no orientation. Love knows no labels, no boundaries. Love is just love. It is fluid. And I think if more people understood that we're humans and that we all desire to be loved, and we all desire to have that one person, whether that person might be of the opposite sex or the same sex, it shouldn't matter. That love is love. And if you're happy and that person makes your life much sweeter than what it already is, that's all that matters. I remember Megan McGlover was speaking about the topic of homosexuality in the church, because that is the big thing right now with it, is between is dealing with religion and spirituality. Megan McGlover said something that was so profound to me in one of her videos, and she said that, you know, for a lot of parents, especially those of religious backgrounds, when they hear that their child is gay, they automatically go into protector mode. They're trying to protect their child from the stereotypes that they see on TV about their child possibly being bashed because of that part of who they are. The possibility that they fear that their child may be doomed to hell with fire and brimstone because of that. And also the reflection on them as parents, because people will look at them and think that, oh, you failed as a parent because your son likes dudes or your daughter likes girls, when in actuality you fail as a parent, in my opinion, when you disown your child, the child that you created. I believe every parent should love their child unconditionally. It doesn't have to come to the term of accepting, because I know everybody's not going to accept it. That is just something that I already know. You know, I'm blessed to be able to have both parents who I feel, based on me talking to them, that they accept me for who I am, or that part of me. They don't see that it has changed anything about me. I'm still the same Brandon than I was when I was pretending to be straight. And that they respect me, and that as long as that person makes me happy, then that's all that matters, is me being happy. And I think the one thing about this film that stuck out to me is that you have to learn how to love who you are. You have to learn how to love who you are. And even Shane said that. It said it's sad that I had to take losing you for me to realize how comfortable I should be. You know, and what would have happened, what would we have been like if we would have done PDA, if I would have held your hand out in public, or if I would have kissed you without looking behind my shoulder or around me to see if anybody saw what I was doing. And I believe that's something that a lot of us, especially as LGBT individuals, a lot of us struggle with every day, because we don't want to be judged. We don't want people to look at us crazy. We sometimes just don't want people to say anything to us, and maybe sometimes they might even go crossing the threshold of verbal to physical and trying to hurt you. You know, but we have to learn how to be comfortable in ourselves, and I feel like that's going to be a lifelong thing, being comfortable in who you are and really loving who you are and accepting the cards that life has dealt to you. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about LGBT things, and I talk about it so much on my channel, because I really want LGBT youth to know and to understand that, you know, it doesn't matter what your orientation is. You know, you can have an abundant life, and you can still love God, and you can still go to heaven despite your sexual orientation. And I think a lot of people are now becoming more testament and sharing their testimonies about that. And it's changing a lot of people's outlooks on it. And, you know, it's just, knowledge is power. And when we actually sit down and get to understand people and truly see them for who they really are, as opposed to the rose-colored glasses that society puts over our eyes, we see things differently, we see people differently, and we genuinely learn to love. And it's crazy. It's so easy to hate, but it's so hard to love. And yeah, that's basically it. I've talked long enough. Please, guys, go out there and check out Bridegroom on Netflix, or if you can find it anywhere else on the web. It would truly be something that would really touch your spirit in many different ways. And yeah, I'm about to go to bed now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you sat through this whole thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, peace and love.